Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I know it's been a little bit of a time since my last video, but this is kind of how I do things. I build and review Lego related items and kits when I have time or interest, and lately I've kind of been lacking on space to display things. But anyways, this time around I am coming back strong, and what we have in front of us is pretty awesome Brickmania kit M1A2 Abrams main battle tank. By the way, if you are new to the channel, please go ahead and consider subscribing. If you've been with the channel, well, thank you. I appreciate you following me and supporting me, and I guess watching my content. But anyways, back to this kit. Let's go ahead and get into the unboxing part of it. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at the front of the box. And the kit number is 897, skill level 4, and contains 879 pieces. Kind of breaks my head a little bit here. But let's go ahead and take a look in the back of the box. We have a nice picture of the tank. A couple of words about it. Again, just talks about that that's a main battle tank. Nothing on this side. And we have basically the kit number 463. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed. Take the sleeve off with my knife. By the way, Brickmania previously released a bunch of the Abrams. A bunch of them, actually 2. And those, well, this is one of them that Brickmania previously released, and now it's been retired. You can actually purchase digital instructions and like a sticker pack to build this yourself and get the parts from Bricklink or whatever else. But this is no longer in stock, and this is the retired kit. Brickmania did recently re-release a new Abrams kit, a model, or whatever you call it. But again, just to kind of repeat myself, this is something that they already retired and not available for sale at this point. And what we have here, we have a seal. Let's go ahead and pop it open and see what's inside the box. All right, yeah, typical Brickmania box. See what's inside. We have instructions right over here. Give a quick flip. A bunch of tan parts, which makes sense. There should be some print elements here as well, and this is what we have. We have reactive armor for the tank. See what else we have. We have the machine guns, and I'm kind of guessing there should be a sticker pack somewhere inside the manual. Let's go ahead and flip through it very quickly. And yes, exactly right. So this one does contain some stickers, as you can see here. Starlight. All right, so let's go ahead without further ado, get into the building of this kit, and I'll come back with a review and my thoughts. Alrighty, quick build update on Abrams kit. As you can see here, the chassis are basically done. You can see here the wheels are in place with somewhat of a suspension. Not a huge fan of those wheels, kind of considering having those replaced. And then we have all the track links assembled and good to go. Does not roll so nicely on the smooth surface as this table, but if you go ahead and put a little bit of a plate or something, and rolls kind of good, but again, I'm not sure until I put everything together. But at this point, it's actually really nice and smooth. I did have one small issue. This bar right here is supposed to be 3 stud per instructions long. Now this one is 4, so because of that I had shifted some of the bricks to the left, and same thing on this side to the right. I don't know, just kind of feel like mentioning. But anyways, that's the update. Alright, so the build is done of Brickmania M1A2 Abrams. I am pretty happy I finally get it done. It was in my backlog for quite some time, but I got to it. By the time I actually doing this review or doing this build, this exact kit is actually now being retired. It's no longer in stock. However, you can either purchase a new Brickmania kit, M1A2 Abrams, as I kind of mentioned before, or you can just kind of go into the Brickmania as well and just pick up the digital instructions and have this exact kit actually brick-linked and kind of put together yourself. I do recommend that option in a way, as you are able to basically build retired kits from Brickmania, also at the same time kind of saving a little bit of money and keeping it in the budget. But anyways, without further ado, that's the tank. That's basically the main battle tank. I'm not gonna go in too much of a detailed review on this, as there's plenty of reviews at this time on YouTube. I'm so behind with building and reviewing this kit that there's really no point even to get into much details. But I will kind of talk about some of the points that I feel kind of relevant, and pretty much just kind of sticking to my usual thing with the reviews, maybe a little bit of history. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk a bit about the instruction manuals. If you're familiar with Brickmania kits, you probably already know that their manuals are pretty good. In my mind, on par with Lego. Everything is labeled nicely. You can see the colors and pictures. You have all the steps in place. Very good. Also in this manual, we do have a little bit of a background on the Abrams M1A2 tank. And it kind of gives you a little bit of history here. And I'm kind of gonna be lazy this time around. And once again, there's a bunch of information out there online or YouTube that you can look it up. I'm not gonna talk about too much of the history. I'm gonna just mention whatever is said here. But basically it just talks about this development of this main battle tank was done in, I think, the 60s or 70s. Then it was actually in action starting in the 80s. It has a lot of similar development parts or technologies with German Leopard 2. I think it actually shares their same gun, which is the 120mm smooth bore. And as you can see here, it talks about more of the specifications. You have a crew of 4. And the reason, actually, if you compare it to the Russian or Soviet tanks, there's a crew of 3. And the reason of this is because there's a manual loader. It's not auto-loaded like the Russian tanks. I thought that was kind of cool. And then the weight is 68 tons, which is one of the actually heaviest tanks in the world. So Abrams is actually one of the heaviest tanks out there. However, it's one of the best tanks out there as well. Again, the speeds right here, the range, and all that kind of good stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and have a closer look at the kit itself. I'll probably give you a little bit of a 360. And I don't know if I've mentioned it previously that this kit was designed by Cody Ocell, and he's a pretty awesome designer. And this is a second version of the Brickmania Abrams. The first one actually, I think, was called like Tusk, and it came with a little bit of a different configuration and armament, and also had a little bit of this kind of armor on the side. And basically I've kind of trying to do the same thing, and this is not my idea, and this is also not me taking it from the most recent Abrams tank that the Brickmania is selling, I guess the latest version. I did not take it from them. I took actually this idea from Berg Bros production guys. They also make, or they used to make, I don't know, I haven't seen any of the videos in a while from them, but they used to make review videos on Brickmania kits. They actually use this reactive armor kind of setup as well. I don't know what they got theirs, but when I saw this, I also wanted to pick it up. And at the time when I was thinking to do the same thing, Brickmania actually released some of the reactive armor tile packs. Again, this was like a year or more than that ago, and it came with a bunch of reactive armors, which I picked up too. I wish I picked up more than that. This is really cool. I could have maybe used some of it on my other kits, but I also picked up the Desert Storm tile. All right, other than this reactive armor that I kind of talked a little bit about, I would like to talk about what the actual kit came with. It did came with 2 printed pieces right here, so you do have the reactive armor in the front. Unfortunately, that's basically the only printed elements that it came with. This is also something I added separately, part of this Desert Storm pack. The kit did came with a sticker sheet, which is right here. I didn't want to apply those just yet, as I'm probably gonna purchase a separate sticker sheet from Brickmania, and those I will just keep it maybe for later, or just in case, you know, if I want to sell it or something. Other than that, again, it's a pretty cool build. One thing there's just want to kind of mention, once you put the top here on the suspension, or I guess the hole on top of the tracks, it does get a little bit of tight. And the instructions manuals does mention that you should have 69 track links on each side. But I found that when that happens, the tracks do get stuck a little bit here on those kind of sides, skirts, or whatever you want to call it. So I would suggest to make it 68, not to make it 69. That's what she said. I'm just kidding. No, don't make it 69, make it 68. That way it's a little bit more tight. That's what she said. I'm just kind of, those office jokes are coming out. Sorry, but then that way it actually rolls a little bit nicer, so it doesn't get stuck that much. But there's a little bit of a lack of space, so to say, in between the tracks and the skirts. for the chassis. But that's kind of like my little comment here. Also want to mention maybe a couple small things that I'm not like super happy about. I would like to change. I do prefer, like, if we talk about the first version, I guess the Tusk version by Cody Sill, I do like the wheels on that one a lot more. In this one, I'm not a big fan of those, so maybe I'll try and replace it. So that's kind of it. There's a bit of a suspension here, which is kind of nice, so you can wiggle it out. Then the build is pretty sturdy, very nice, solid. When you hold in your hands, it feels nicely and solid. It's actually was a little bit on the bigger side than I expected once I built it, but either way, it's nice. It has some of the basically armaments that it comes with. You have this M2 HB, I'm sorry, and you have this M40 machine gun. Just kind of want to show that a little bit here as well. You got the smoke dispensers, and I did purchase separately those two figures. This is the old tanker that Brickmania used to sell. So this is kind of a quick look at that. So this is the army tanker. Again, that's not no longer available. And then we have a newer version of Brickmania tanker that's not retired. Sorry. Come on, let it go. Let go of your M2HB. And I like this one a lot. It has nice print, nice vest, nice little 3D printed helmet. Again, quick look. Not part of the kit. This is something you have to buy separate. Of course, the newer Abrams comes with a figure, but this one didn't. On my last note, basically just finalize my thoughts. I really like this kit. I wish I built it faster, sooner. Again, it was just kind of sit in my backlog. Never got a chance to get to it until now. Again, highly recommend it if you can still get a hold of it, or maybe again Brinklink it, or whatever else you want to do about it. One thing I would just kind of want to throw a little bone out there. I did have a couple gripes with, again, missing pieces, or maybe the pieces not exactly the same. I had some extra pieces. I'm not sure what they're all about, but you know, anyways, I did mention it when I was talking about my about the chassis. And also for this new Brickmania Abrams, I do wish, I mean, I like this kind of Desert Storm look, or you know, like Iraqi war kind of look when it's tan, kind of matches with the sand or whatnot. However, it would be nice if maybe Brickmania would, for the next one, or I mean, they already kind of again re-released it, they would make the kind of like another color of the camo. I would prefer if they came up with a like a greener version of it, or a little bit darker version of it, I would probably pick that one out. But since again this is also the new one that they have is tan, this is probably the same as the previous versions that they made. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you kind of enjoyed this shorter maybe review. Thank you for watching. Next one, I will be building and reviewing heads, which is the kind of transport for Abrams. So stay tuned for that. I hope you kind of like this diorama that I put together, just to kind of make it look nicer, maybe somewhere in the Middle East or whatnot. I hope you enjoyed this review, and bye for now.